up, y'all? I'm Steve, and I'm really excited for this Elev8 today with Highboy Glass. Man, this guy is super cool. Got to meet him in person years back, and so I'm really excited to get this opportunity to hang out with him today. Hold on tight for this interview. I'm really excited. Really quickly, I want to mention we have this really cool program called Elev8ambassador.com. It's a really cool thing for women, Elev8 dolls, and men, Elev8 gents. Check it out. Big thing is you're helping us build Elev8, and that is so awesome. I can't do it without y'all, and know that you're part of a bootstrap, guerrilla-based marketing program, and it's really awesome. It's a win for us. It's a win for outside blowers, and it's a win for you. You get credits and you get all kinds of stuff. Also, if you are really also looking for a way to help us, check out Elev8veterans.com. It's a really neat thing we got going on. It's a 501c3 for vets that have helped us as a nation, and then we get to give back with some glass blowing lessons or consumption units like the Silver Surfer. Anyways, let's roll in this Elev8 with Highboy Glass. Howdy, y'all. We got Highboy Glass today here. Jason, welcome to Elev8.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is really exciting with me. I got to meet you a few years back with when I got introduced into a scientific glass community, and you came down and introduced me to this crazy thing called battle tops. Which we've adopted, and so it's really been a neat thing, and I'm really excited to sit here today with you.
Brad, yeah, the battle tops thing is fun. I definitely want to do more battles. That's pretty aggressive competition for glass. It's pretty fun.
It is, and it goes really quickly, and like it's like demolition derby style atmosphere, I feel like.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, we probably should take more safety measures, actually. Gear and stuff.
Helmets and everything.
Yeah, I like to rig mine with stuff that's gonna fly, because shrapnel can be helpful in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd like to get right into this. How did you get into this glass blowing lifestyle and becoming a glass blower?
As a kid, my neighbor was a glass blower, and I grew up next to a glass blower, and he made like trophies and things and all sorts of like clear stuff for gift shops and things, and I was really into art, but the stuff he made, I wasn't into it, at all. And I went out to Oregon on a road trip when I was 19, and I wound up staying out there. And the circle of friends that I kind of made, 3 of them were glass blowers, and they made pipes and stuff in their shop. The shed similar to what I work out of now in one of the guys' mom's backyard. I think 2 of them lived in there, and I was totally infatuated with the lifestyle, like right off the bat. I spent about 2 years in Oregon, almost 3 years, and the whole time I went there. I never even touched glass, but I went and I watched and I hung out with those guys, and I loved the scene and the lifestyle and just all the art around all the time, and all the shops and all the other glass blowers, and just totally fell in love with it. But I had to come back to Colorado, and I knew no glass blowers, and but I had this thing like seeded in me that I had to do it, so I went to my neighbor, you got to help me figure this out type shit, because he didn't. I wanted to do inside out. That's what I saw them do, and that's what I wanted to do, was flare and put color in it and soak it down and get that whole like underwater effect in these thick little spoons. Like I wanted those, and I knew that all my friends around here would want those when I could make them.
It's still some of my favorite work when it's done right. It's like, wow.
Absolutely. Yep. It's mine too. Yeah. It's really 3D and in depth, and So he, what him and I started doing was basically um, flip work. He didn't understand the whole flare concept I was trying to tell him. So he was like, "Well, check this out," and he started having me color the tubing on the outside, and then he was cutting it open and flipping it and turning it into like these little fish we made. They were spoons, kind of like looked like a fish on its side, you know, and the tail was like the mouthpiece, and then you know the bowl was like one of the eyes. It was like a spoon but kind of flat, and that's what he would. So I would do the artwork. Yeah, I tried to learn how to do that. That was what I initially tried to learn how to do in glass blowing, was those
Was the
flips.
cut and flip?
And yeah, and the ones, you know, I didn't grasp everything he was doing. Like there's so much, and just being a new guy and like learning from watching the flare stuff, and like I was, you know, I was a little upset. Like, no, this is not how you do, you know. And you know, I tried, but I made really horrible stuff, and then I finally got in a shop around Colorado here with other people, and one guy kind of really helped me out. He helps a lot of guys out, Eric Stecker.
Oh my God. Same with me. He's the guy who taught me as well.
Yeah, so you know he can really help you out. He really knows how to teach.
Yes.
And you know, we never did any like formal lessons or anything, but I was renting space next to him, and you know he definitely, I would say, went out of his way to help me really figure out the flares and the inside out stuff. And yeah, that's why I was able to blow glass to this day. To keep doing it was figuring out how to make those and be able to get some money back and pay for the materials to keep going and stuff. So
Man, that feels so neat that we both kind of have the same I'd say mentor that kind of brought us up. So that I didn't know that. That's fucking awesome.
right, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I saw Eric at DNL a few months back. It was really good to see him. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And so about what time was this when you got into this glass stuff? What year?
okay, so I came back from Oregon in 2000, late 99, early 2000, and that's right away because I went back to my parents. I was 20 at that time, and I went back to my parents there to kind of get my footing back in Colorado here, and just started hammering on my neighbor about, you know, it started when I was a kid, man. My first job that I had to actually make money was sanding bases for his glass sculptures. So I mean, it started when I was like 10.
Working with your hands, you knew that.
Yeah,
that
and you know,
felt
and he
like.
was, yeah, it seemed like, because I would be like here, and he'd be like nope, and you know, I would think something I wanted to put 45 minutes into, if I could even, you know, get through that, was like, you know, nope, you know, more, you know, and like you'd have to put 4 or 5 hours into sanding these things to like glass, you know. And so it did help, like you said, you know, kind of help with that finding like you know, detail oriented stuff or whatever. So.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. You worked with him, and then as a kid, and then almost 10 years later, you came back and reworked that out again.
Yeah, yeah, he was in our lives a lot, you know. He helped my mom. My mom had a small glass collection that she got over the years from different Disneyland and wherever she went. And some stuff broke. Like she had this hummingbird and a ornament with a columbine. Those are pretty popular around here. I forget the artist's name, but I did track down who actually did a lot of those around here at one point. But he did a repair on that for her and different things, so for the neighbors and stuff. So you know, it was part of my life. I mean, I would definitely say it was influencing me, but I wasn't
Right.
into it yet. But it was definitely like, you know, shaping me, grooming me.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. And then how did you get your glass name? I know you're Highboy Glass now, and how did that all kind of come around? I mean, Because you've been in this for a while.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's something that's a kind of a representation of my life. I spent 17 years as an arborist. I started that in Oregon as well, and I went back to Astoria later on to help a friend of mine start his company, and was climbing 200, cutting down and climbing 250-foot Sitka spruce
Holy
trees
shit.
right on the coast. And that's what I did around Denver here for 17 years. So that
So
kind of
Highboy it has nothing to do with getting high or the state. It has to do with
in
climbing the trees.
my Highboy roadsters. Like when I first started blowing glass, I knew I wanted to be a sculptor. I always knew I wanted to be a sculptor. I love to paint and draw, but I could never get what I wanted to see 3D wise down on paper. I'm not good enough. And so it was finding my medium, you know. But I always wanted to do like custom culture, like Rap Fink, the little rigs with the guys, the monsters and stuff. That's what I always wanted to do. So getting there to my skill level to where I could actually accomplish these, you know, I started with the Highboy Roadsters, you know, and so that's like a culmination of my whole career getting to this point and actually feeling like I can be where I want to be as an artist and put out the pieces that I have and the ideas I have in my head, you know, out in glass. So that was kind of like the, you know, glass blowing in life is all about plateaus, you know?
Yeah.
And when I did my first Rap Fink a few months ago, it was like I hit that plateau in myself that I really wanted. And so Highboy was like kind of developed right then too. And I have really passionate, big ideas of what I want to do and some really big stuff down the road here, like really big installation type stuff. And, you know, Highboy is kind of the theme and idea of that work. Like I have paintings I've been making and stuff to get this stuff manifested and get the ideas rolling. And I've been working in the soft glass studio a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Recently, the universe has shown me that they're building this art society here in my own town where they're building this, it's called an art space, man. And it's basically like a library. I don't know if you heard of these. There's one in Longmont, but they have 3D printers, blacksmithing studio, ladling equipment, all this stuff that I need to progress with these sculptures and stuff is like coming to my town right here.
That is so perfect.
I've built large scale soft glass chandeliers and with a friend of mine, another mentor of mine, and as well as we had a blacksmith that rented out a glass blowing studio for about 2 years during that time that taught me a lot about blacksmithing.
Right.
So I've developed those skills over the years that I need to progress. And that's also kind of what fed the ideas. And, you know, so all this stuff is going on like right now. So that's what a Highboy is. That's what all that shit's about.
And it sounds pretty neat. You're all staying within the fire realm, blacksmithing, a lot of heat, glass blowing, a lot of heat.
Yeah, fire sign. Yep, fire, man. It's like it's fight it or own it and be in it. You know what I mean? Like it's wild.
Have you always liked fire as a kid and everything?
Yeah. I have a cousin one time that said something about how I was able to, you know, harness all that or whatever, you know. So
Hell yeah.
I wasn't. I have friends that did time for like because they had problems lighting shit on fire, but that was never me. I was more like jumping over the campfire and that kind of love fire stuff. So.
If only your friends could have found glass blowing, they might have been not dealing with those problems.
Maybe they did. I've never talked to those. Maybe they did. You never know.
Right. Have you taken any classes? And if so, do you recommend them?
Oh, I highly recommend classes. Classes are amazing. I've only taken one, and it
Okay.
was so monumental in my career. It was about 8 years ago, I think. It was called Fine Lines and Fine Wines, and I took it, or Fine Wines and Fine Lines, one or the other, but it was with Robert Mickelson and Shane Farrow over here at Glasscraft.
Okay.
And, um, just the working with the two of them was huge. And just really, I use stuff that they taught me, and most people that they taught me, every time I sit down and make something, just different stuff. So
Right.
very, very valuable. And then I shouldn't say that was the only class I've taken borosilicate glass blowing, but I recently have been taking some soft glass classes over at a shop in Lakewood here called The Furnace.
Okay.
And I have to do that to progress with my sculptures and stuff. So, and I have experience in the soft glass studio, but the guys I was working with at the time were doing huge contracts and just cranking. So, I mean, I got in and rolled a pipe here, there, but I just cleaning punties, sweeping floors, keeping stuff hot. Like, there was no time back then. There was no time for me to even learn how to do much of the make something on my own, all that stuff. So
Right.
the
Right.
classes really help excel there. So
Have you got to give any classes or teach any classes yet?
I've only done one demonstration at a ASG meeting, but other than that, just individuals that have come to me on an individual basis and asked for help.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. Where do you get your inspiration and creativity from in your work?
Mostly my parents, my uncles, and my aunts. My mom, are all really creative, and the Southwestern art is a huge influence in my family and in my life. So a lot of my sculptural work when it first started was like peace pipes and ram skulls and feathers and
Oh, nice.
elk and deer and different. My dad is a trophy hunter, so I grew up with a dead zoo around me. So I used to make a lot of animals and stuff. So and I want to make more animals and stuff, but just more into my style now than just trying to recreate a deer or something. So
Right. Right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Um, what is your preferred style or technique that you really love? And if you only were allowed to use one more technique or style, what would that be?
oh, just sculpture. Yeah,
Sculpture?
I pretty much don't want to do anything else anymore. Someone told me once, you only have so many rolls in your wrists, so many rolls in your hands, and to make them all count.
Yep, it's
Uh,
true.
you know, you can really get pigeonholed in this industry if you allow it. And my whole thing is just to try and be gritty and tough and just stay where I want to be so I can accomplish what I want to accomplish in my life. And if I spend too much time doing the other stuff, I can't do it. And that makes it hard with clients and everything and trying to do like a business or whatever. But
Hmm.
I mean, I don't want to do it unless I'm doing what I want to do type thing.
You want to do what's right for you, and I think that is there's something to be said there. If the whole world could do what was right for themselves, we might be a pretty awesome world with no problems. But
Yeah, yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I agree. My hyper focus, whatever I have, that um, it can be annoying to other people and stuff, but for me, it definitely keeps me grounded and out of trouble. And
yeah,
so,
hell yeah. Um, did you have any periods in your career where you like really made a big like shift in it? Maybe you were making a lot of pipes and then you went to rigs, or maybe you went from hard glass to soft glass.
So I was an arborist for 17 years, and my back had given out like the third time in a year. I was bent over and couldn't stand up from hauling logs and stuff, you know. And I was fed up, and I had been blowing glass for about, let's see, I think 13 years or something at that point, just kind of hobbying around and stuff.
So you were
always,
blowing glass while you were doing trees and everything.
yeah,
Arbor.
I had kids, you know, real young. So I mean, I couldn't do it just off the glass. Personally, I've seen other people that are plenty capable, but for me, I couldn't do it. I had to do like a full-time job gig and then blow glass when I could. And that's what I mean, like staying out of trouble. Like I spent 20 years, spent all my money and, you know, everything trying to learn how to blow glass. So there's a lot of other stuff I could have been getting into that I didn't. But I think I just went off on you a little bit. Sorry, man. What were
No,
what was
no.
that gonna be?
I guess the question was, did you have any periods of shift where you
So
you
yeah,
shifted? Yeah.
so my back was giving out, and I had been blowing glass for a long time, and it was like, well, I wonder if I could get a job doing this. I wonder if I could find an artist that needs an apprentice, or you know, I should get out of tree work and just go glass, because I loved it. And so I got into scientific. I had to take a $8 an hour pay cut, and it was rough, but that was a huge change, to go from the service industry, from always being outside and in a different zone, and with random people, you know, and stuff, to going to an industrial type setting in a factory with the same people and the same stuff. It was wild. You know, that was like the total you know, shift of polarities or whatever on me. So I would say that was the biggest thing in my career, was when finally just went glass blower instead of, you know, hobby guy and stuff. So
Do you feel that when you switched over to that and went into the scientific area, it really helped improve your sculpture techniques as well, and just the overall understanding of glass?
absolutely, yeah, it was a great move. You know, it was a great move. I was very transparent what I was doing when I went there. Like, you know, I'm here to learn how to blow glass and get a paid apprenticeship, you know.
Right.
You know, I'm a pipe maker, you know, like and a lot of guys were like, yeah, this is not gonna help you there. And, you know, I knew right away they just didn't know what they were talking about.
Because
Yeah.
glass is glass, and
Yeah,
you can kind of.
you know, like, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, you're probably right. Just show me what you know. Like, so, yeah, that was definitely a really good thing to help me get to where I could get all the dimensions that I needed to get my ideas across on the canvas or whatever.
And when you were doing the scientific, was that only borosilicate, or were you also doing quartz glass? Because I know sometimes scientific stuff utilizes quartz and stuff like semiconductors and you know, Intel and Ratmill and Atmill they call it, but they use a lot of quartz glass. So I wonder if you were doing quartz as well.
I did a lot of quartz. Absolutely. It's disgusting. I can't stand it, but
Really?
oh, it's so messy. It's so messy. There's plume or divid, or, you know, everywhere, and just it's hydrogen. The worst burn I ever got was with a little mini torch with hydrogen, lanced my arm and went through and out the other. And then
Holy fuck.
yeah, all the meat on top of there rotted to the lance. Oh, yeah, I don't mess with it. I still can't use a mini torch. Like, I have PTSD. I have a national, but, you know, just because that thing rolled on me, because they're round, you know, and they're
Yeah.
small, I just wasn't being as careful as I probably should. And yeah, it just I was, doing something and grabbing something and it rolled and just went right, those hydrogen flames on that thing can be like 18, 20 inches long. So
Holy mackerels.
it's nasty. It's hot.
And that's a reason why quartz does cost so much. It takes more energy. I think it's more prep to make it, more finishing to finish it.
Yep. And keeping it clean, the environment, just everything.
And it sounds like it just sucks to work.
It's so hot. It takes so much heat to keep it hot, to keep it working. It's so stiff. And in scientific, you can end up making something out of quartz that's a pound, of glass. I pulled down a 5-foot taper one time from, I think it was 55 or 60 mil all the way down to thick. Like 16 or something, like 5 feet long. It took half the day, just hydrogen blast in this thick tube right in your face. I don't know. I don't mean to complain, but
and some people probably really enjoy that stuff.
They do. They really, it's so clean and beautiful when you're done, and all that clarity is beautiful, and a lot of people really love that.
Yeah. Just like everything, there's square pegs should go in square holes, and round pegs in round holes. And if you don't like what you're doing, get out, because like you said, you only got so many twists in your wrists, and life is short.
I don't know. That kind of brings me to getting out of scientific. was like, why am I here? Why am I here? It started to be, why'd you do this? Like, when are you gonna move, dude? Like, I went all the way into research. A lot of people, don't get into research. They just don't get the opportunities and stuff. And I feel like getting into research and doing something different all the time instead of the same monotonous stuff was kind of what drove me into wanting to do just one of a kind stuff. I want to do stuff that you're only going to find one place in the world, and that's what I try and drive to do. So a lot of my recyclers and stuff are really weird, but it's like, I can make a recycler, but I want to make one that works specifically special for me, and so I don't really make a lot because I don't really get ideas very often about it. But
right. Hell yeah. It's about being your own person.
Yeah, function haunts me for sure. So
hell yeah. What are your favorite items to blow currently? Are they pipes, rigs, pendants?
I like bubblers myself. A water pipe is what I like the most to have. So that's what I like to make the most of.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What's your favorite color to work with?
To work with?
Yeah, if there was only one color besides clear.
That would be horrible. One color. It'd have to be like a really colorful color that you could do a lot of weird. I mean, amber purple, bro. You can't. Amber purple is the best color.
It's what you want, right?
You can only have one color. It'd be amber purple. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It stood the test of time.
It really has.
Maddie White gave a shout out to amber purple at Champs. It was pretty sick.
I think because it was one of North Star's first like 5 colors, and to this day, like you said, it's an easy go-to. Give me that, because you can pull so much out of it. It's unreal.
Yeah. And some people can just do the most amazing. I think there's a whole lifetime of learning curve in that color to really get the control of it and everything. So.
Yeah, and I think that really does tie into almost fuming, because they're not the same, but they kind of are the same, and how you can work them and get them to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you can control the fuming of the amber purple in your sculpting, you can get a lot of different shadows and tones and stuff that you would spend time trying to add other colors that the fume from that color will naturally do and stuff. And
But
try
knowing how to pull it and do it, that's the trick.
strike it out and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So if there's a color out there that you didn't like, what would that be? That you happy if they just got rid of?
Uh, I,
You
I
like
would have
them
used
all?
to, I used to would have said I would have used to said Ruby, but I finally figured out how to use that after 20 years or something, and now I love it. But I have made some disgusting stuff with Ruby for sure, trying to figure that one out. But
What was your problem with it, and what did you find as the solution to overcome it? If you don't mind sharing.
well, it livers out, gets gross, which is useful in some applications, especially with sculpting, if you really want like some kind of if you want to make a liver or something. But yeah, once I once I figured it out, it's blasting the oxygen is what I do. Is I just get my oxygen ripping roaring. So I mean it's loud like a jet engine, and I work at it where it's almost clear, and then it'll kiln strike into a beautiful red if I keep it clear when I work it as much as possible.
So that's the key to Ruby. Keep it clear, keep it oxidized, and
That's
good
how I
luck.
found to keep it to get it back to like a real nice red. And then it's fun because the more it seems, the more you strike it in the kiln, the redder it gets. Oh, it just keeps
So
getting.
you'll strike it a couple times, run it through a kiln a couple times, maybe.
Um, I just have before, and it's gotten it's gotten darker. So
Oh yeah, that's neat. I might have to try that. That's
I think I learned that actually this stuff, it takes a while for me to to get it going, but I think I learned that from a freak demo on YouTube when he was talking about his brain marbles and how to strike them, and he was saying how he's got real specific strike times, and so he'll fill like a whole cookie sheet with his brain marbles and then get them all the exact same strike on them, so they're all exactly the same. And you know what I mean? His brain reduction marbles,
yeah, yeah.
beautiful they are. Well, that's where I started to learn about amber purple, was listening to what he was talking about strike times, and that and how he gets the reds and the purples back out by going through these annealing cycles and stuff. So
Right. So that's a whole nother process out there that sometimes I think a lot of people don't realize. It's just a kiln's used for kilning, but it's really also can be used to bring out colors and do a lot of different stuff.
absolutely.
That's pretty cool. Um, what's the most difficult piece you've ever attempted?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of variables there, I think. So for me, a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago or something. So I might have been blowing glass for 8 or 9 years, self-taught and stuff, and other than, getting some pointers here and there. And I wanted to make one of those big upright things, like a wall hanger, like you see like Sheen and everybody make. And I was into the ram skulls and stuff. So I had this idea that I was going to make a ram skull base and then do an upright on it. And I pulled it off, for whatever. A lot of people along the way have told me, you shouldn't be doing that yet. You shouldn't be doing that yet. And that was definitely one of the cases. I was at a bigger shop, and there was a lot of people that, you shouldn't be doing that. But I did, and I was really proud of it. It sat right with the two horns. I mean, I go like they're perfect. They weren't perfect, but I mean, they sat right and square. And then, I had a pretty good. It was clear and fume. I didn't have money to put in a color in it at the time or anything, but I think I had like, 5-inch disc for the big. No, it was a donut. The bottom one was a donut, like about 5 inches, and then the top one was like a 3-inch disc, and then I think I had a little mouthpiece on there. And it stood, 18 inches tall or something. So at that time, with my skill level and everything, I would say that was the most difficult piece.
And that's a really neat point you bring up like that. It's not about, each one gets harder and harder. It's about, where was your skill set at that time when you tackled a project? And
yeah,
yeah,
I think so too. They're different. Like what are you actually taking on over like what you could actually do? Someone else could make something way more beautiful and and stuff, but they've made 15 of them type thing, and it's like, I'm not going to say it's any less difficult, but they have a lot more experience into learning all the steps and stuff like that than when you're trying to figure it out.
yeah, that's a neat point.
Though.
Yeah. Do you collaborate often?
I maybe have once or twice made something with a friend, but I've never done, I guess, yeah, Chris Sajak and Chris Chun, we made I guess that I would call that, my one collaboration. We made a crab recycler.
All right.
So other than that, just kind of making stuff with like Blake and buddies here and there, hopping in a demo or something. But yeah, I don't.
Have you ever competed in any events before?
I went to Champs recently. Saw you there.
And how did you like that? Did you like the pressure? Did you not like the pressure?
I think I'm hooked. I think I found, and once again, not ever like really truly getting involved in glass blowing, like a lot of, just standing back and figuring out in whatever shop I built for myself, or, getting in a studio for a few months here and there. Like, I was like, I want to be part of that, looking at, like, I went to DFO 15 out in Eugene, and it was always something that I wanted to do, but confidence, whatever. I met guys at Champs that had only been blowing glass a year.
Is that not just crazy what these cats will do?
Man,
like,
I would have never had the confidence, I would have never, and and that's probably a silly decision, like that kind of stuff probably would have really helped me early on had I taken it on. So I mean, my hat's off to those guys that do that, and that is a smart move to do that. And they get my support wholeheartedly.
And it's almost like a free class, because you get pulled into that back. You're working with all these blowers that are as talented or even far more talented. And because you're in that group, everybody wants to help out. And even though you're competing against each other's, there's camaraderie there.
Yeah, I think so. And, just helping others is, good for your competitive spirit. You know what I mean? It really helps build your competitive self, to being a good sport. It really makes the sport fun when you're a good sport. And so, I had a lot of amateur moves going into Champs, and one of the things was I took on way too much. I kind of misunderstood. They said pick 3, and I thought, well, maybe if I pick 3, they're going to give me a shot, possibly, if I get a shot at one of them that I can fit in or something. Well, when they called, they said, okay, we got you signed up for 3 events. Which one do you want to do first? And I was just blown away. I didn't, and I was like, okay, and I just set it all up. But going back to what you had said about a learning experience, I should have only taken on one of the shorter ones, spent a lot of time taking all that in, and that there's so much to take in, and it's such a huge opportunity, like you said, to learn stuff. And I spent the whole time, competing and smoking cigarettes and stressed out and all this stuff. So I didn't catch anything. So it's kind of.
But that's the learning thing. And I know every time I came by your booth, you had nothing but a smile. So while you might have been stressed, I think it was self-induced stress, and you seemed pretty happy to me. I don't know, but
Yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself about it that was probably unnecessary, but yeah, it just so many so many things to gather from that. So it was good to take it all on because that's how I kind of took all of glass blowing on. Like I said, people are like, that's way too much, that's way too much, but that's what's always driven me to get. It's like, well, you don't understand what I need to make. I don't have time. I just don't have time. I got to do this. So.
right. Uh, do you consume cannabis yourself?
Yeah, that's part of Highboy, I would say for sure, man. So yeah, it's been a heavy, influence in my creativity and my work ethics and everything since I was young.
Right.
14 or 15. I think I took a break when I was like 16 when I was on the wrestling team. 16, 17, I was on the wrestling team and taking it real serious, and I didn't smoke, but other than that, I went to the Navy, and I mean,
Well, thank you for your service, man.
I appreciate it. No worries. Mopped a lot of floors, so.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, other than that, just always definitely been big advocate of cannabis and CBD.
Do you prefer the flower, concentrate, edibles, or you just like the whole plant?
The whole plant, yeah, everything, man. I really like the concentrates, and the future and science and technology and all that stuff is awesome, man. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
myself, if I can roll up like 3 grams into a joint, like that's my favorite.
Nice big fat joints.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
lovely.
Do you have any hobbies outside of glass?
Yeah, absolutely. When I have time outside of parenting, I like to do a lot of stuff, man. Hiking, disc golf, motorcycles, cars. Yeah, lots of stuff to do outside of glass. I haven't been fishing yet this year at all, which is horrible. So I grew up snowboarding, really heavily into board sports. My first competitions outside of the wrestling tournaments were wakeboarding.
Okay.
So I like the competitive scene stuff.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's probably why that champs, it kind of hit you well, the competitiveness plus the just it all.
I was pissed that I didn't place, and I have no like any room to be like that at all. Like, it's fortunate I even got to be there and stuff. Like and like it's like just still like mad that like I could have done this, I could have done that. Like,
Well,
so.
I think a truly competitive person should be upset. If you didn't get first place, you should be a little bit like, damn it, I could have did better. Like
Right,
it just
clearly.
is what it is, right? Like
Huh.
nothing wrong with that. And that's what gives you the fire for next time to say, fuck, man,
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Um, do you use any of your own pieces when you do consume, or do you use other people's pieces?
If we get other people's pieces, we don't really use them. Trying to build a little collection and stuff, and definitely would love to, but I just want to preserve them the way they are. They're so beautiful, like they just we can use my stuff or something that's not that someone didn't spend as much time on and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. When you do use your own pieces, are they good pieces, or were they pieces gifted to you by the glass gods from cracks or misfortunes?
We like real specific pieces, so we usually just make them, or if it's something I make that I really like that have to keep or whatever. But,
Nice, nice.
yeah, I don't usually give up on pieces. So if something happens, unless like the whole thing falls to the floor or something, you know, where there's nothing, like I'll do everything I can not to give up. I'll take everything apart and rebuild the part that cracked and put it all back together. Like it's something that, you know, there's a lot of, you know, being self-taught, you just kind of take these words of advice that you get. And that's something that Basso, once I heard someone else say that he told them, was to never give up.
And you learn from that by fighting those
Yeah,
battles,
that
fixing those
resonates in
cracks.
my head. Like, you know what, you know, when you have problems, it's just like, well, maybe you're having these kinds of problems because you're gonna bucket that. Don't, you know, don't stop. You beat this situation. And that was only like this year, you know, and it's really, that's been huge, you know. I got to meet uh Quave one time. He had a party and I went there and I was talking to him, and I was like, wanted to use the opportunity to ask like a really good question that would help me out, you know. And
Yeah.
I asked him if he had any advice on coming up with a unique design, what would it be, you know? And what he said was, find something you like and then build it until you love it, until it's the, you know, the what really really works for you. And that really resonated with me, you know. That's you know, that's beautiful. It's like, you know, like
Right.
don't try and figure out what's gonna work really well for someone, you know. Like make it like, beautiful for you, you know, what works well. And then, you know, then that put that those ideals into what, you know, what you're making for other people. And then it's kind of like, you know, you've already made something beautiful. And if you want to sell it or something, then someone obviously is going to want it because you did something that really appeals to you.
Right, right. And you know what you like, and I know whatever you like, other people are gonna like too. It's just
Yeah, it's like a security thing. Like you're secure with your taste, you know. And so,
right.
you know, and you kind of confine yourself as an artist with that kind of advice, you know. It's like, you know, just keep doing what you feel like is going to be really cool, you know. And that's kind of with the whole the rat rods and stuff. It was a lot of years I let my skills kind of hold me back from doing. And then at one point it was like, you know, you have to do these because that's, you know, that's what you when you every time, because you see that shit everywhere, man. T-shirts, posters, and concert art and bar ads all the time. And so for me it was constantly like, joint, you know, like, you know, like that should be a, you know, that should
Hell
be a
yeah.
piece, you know. So I don't know.
Hell yeah.
That's why, yeah, I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now. Pretty
I
stoked.
I like it. Um, what can we look forward to in the future? I know you said you're working in some soft glass and looking to do some installations.
Yeah, that's right. That and a studio, man. My wife and I have a building in Lakewood.
Okay.
We built some Airbnbs there that are doing really well. And there's a shop space that I'm pretty sure that I can have, you know, 7 benches fairly comfortable. And now it's a matter of finding 7 good tenants and
Right.
get this thing going. So we already have the building, so that the the real technical issues handled. It's pretty much just uh, setting it up to where it's okay to, um, you know, there's tenants in there right now, you know, so it's all good. It's making money and stuff. So it's kind of, I have lots of time to just really build a
Nice.
really good thing before we actually, like, you know, put the throttle into it. So
Hell yeah. That's good stuff. Do you find that you still have the same love and passion today as when you first started or noticed glass almost 20 some years ago?
oh yeah, that passion was just like a seed back then, you know. It was something like, you know, someday you could be really passionate about this type thing. I didn't understand that I was passionate, that what it taught me, what classes taught me, what, you know, what being passionate about something other than like person or a child, like being passionate about kind of yourself, you know, the stuff that you need to grow and where you need to grow and improve in life. You know, I've learned all that shit from glass blowing, you know. I needed all that, you know. So my passion for glass blowing now compared to when I started with, you know, it was a seed, and now it's like a fucking redwood tree, you know. It's like,
I love it. I love it. Well, I guess I'd say, where's the best place where we can follow you and see more of your stuff? On Instagram, Facebook? Do you have a web page?
no, none of that. Just the Instagram. I kept losing my portfolios over the years, you know, with cell phones or whatever. And so I did the Instagram was primarily to keep a portfolio somewhere, you know, and so yeah, that's all I have. I don't use any other social media really. So, and, you know, if anyone looks at my Instagram, please critique me, because like I said, I don't know social media very well at all. So I'm sure I make a lot of common mistakes. If you see anything, definitely hit me up, and if you got time, dude, for help me with improvements, I will definitely take your advice.
Dude, I love that right there. You're asking for help. You know, it takes a man to say, hey man, I'm not quite sure, need some help. And here you are asking the world for it. I fucking love it. It's great, Jason.
Thanks, dude.
Hell yeah.
I'll do anything for it, you know, like to be able to keep doing this, you know.
Hell yeah. Is there anything we missed or anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just would like to say something about like all the second generation guys I've been seeing coming up out there. It's like I'm really excited about. We have 4 kids here, and that's a big part of the passion is legacy and stuff, and building a creative environment that these kids can come up around and be able to, you know, put out their emotions and any traumas they find in life, and be able to have those outlets and stuff. And lately I've been seeing this big bloom of people that are kind of coming out of their woodworks and showing their kids at the torches and stuff, because I think that's been a little like up until recently, like people were kind of unsure if they should, but
get them
like
on whatever the kids
we're in the renaissance of glass pipes. Like there's been all
what
this
a neat time
of glass in history, and right now it's pipes, you know. And it's like, fucking, you know, stop turning away from it or allowing other people to look down on it, and let's shine this shit, you know. And let's, you know, teach our kids like how to make whatever the fuck they want to make, and not, you know, not like be like, oh, we can't show that our kids are making anything at all because I make pipes. And it's like people are going to have these ideals that the kids are at home making pipes and shit. And it's like,
well, that group of people that have those ideals, they can keep on walking, and I think that group's going to get smaller.
Yeah, there's things like the Michigan Glass Project that are showing, like, you know, the people that really give a fuck about art are like artists, you know. And there's you don't need to critique artists, and you don't need to critique the content of art, you know. That was a big problem I had in public education, was don't, you know, the teachers like, you know, well, is that LSD on his tongue? And it's like, you know, look at the shadowing, but under the, you know, it's like, that's what you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be looking at, you know, what talking of, that's you're supposed to, you know, say that's awesome and I love your ideas, you know. Like, so I want to see all that, you know, just as much as cannabis has been accepted in our culture. I want to see like artists be allowed to be artistic, you know. And so I just think it's neat that people are promoting their kids getting behind the torch and making shit, regardless of, like we just said, what other people think and stuff. So
I like that.
Shout out to the whole community. Like, keep it up, badass.
I love it. Great way to end it. Highboy, Jason, I appreciate your time today. Stay elevated, man.
All right, stay up. Better high than low.
All right, so that was super freaking awesome. I was really stoked and am really stoked that I got to hang out with this guy. Wow, it's so neat that we both kind of got to grow from kind of the same guy, Eric. Just really neat how the glass blowing world is so small. Really super awesome. And I want to put a call out. We need help, brand ambassadors, to help promote people like Highboy and Elev8 and this idea of this this thing that we're doing. You get credits, and anyways, go check it out at elev8ambassador.com. We also have Elev8 Veterans. Go check that out. And it's a really cool 501c3 nonprofit we have where we get to give back to society. Anyways, thanks a lot for staying tuned. Subscribe if you like what we're doing. If you don't, tell us how we can improve. That's what it's all about, getting better in life. Anyways, Elev8, mind, body, spirit.